Hi, Andrew here, and I'm wondering, what is yours? A couple days ago, I recorded a video which was a response to a commenter's critique of a previous video. Keeping with that theme, I recently recorded a video, The Coming Storm. And of course, it wasn't about the weather, it's the coming shitstorm. And I referred back to Strauss and Howe's work in Generations. I don't know if I used the specific term that they refer to, the fourth turning. And the fourth turning refers to the fourth generation in their generations cycle. There are four generations. And again, I haven't read the book recently, but each generation has its own characteristics. And the fourth one gets the fourth turning, the turning of the fourth generation. And it's the one that's accompanied by the storm. The response, there was a comment that basically was, I agree with what's coming, but you can't use this forum to generate the income. I talked about income infragility, in making your income anti-fragile by adding something. And the comment was that this forum is not appropriate for that because to do content that's edgy enough, the censors at YouTube are likely to ban you. And I agree wholeheartedly. 90%. There are YouTubers out there making a great deal of content and presumably a fairly good living based upon the views and the adverts. I don't know their financials, their internals, but I do know that they devote a tremendous amount of time to it. And the content is edgy, not edgy. Let's put it that way. My boys have fallen in love with a hockey YouTuber goes by the handle Steve Dangle. And he has spent 15 years making a fan reaction video after every single Maple Leafs game. I think the guy's a masochist. Could you imagine watching the last 15 years of the Maple Leafs and not just watching the games, but watching them with an eye to making a video about the game you just watched for watched the last night? I mean, man, this young man must have some serious intestinal fortitude to do that. But this has expanded out. He doesn't just do that. He's got a podcast network. He's got, I my boys could tell you what it is, some sort of fan thing. He makes other videos for YouTube for the station that he works for. Because he's actually turned this in, he has a degree in a background in broadcasting, blah, blah. This isn't an advert for him. Check him out if you want. He yells and screams into the camera much more than I do, even. But his content is not at the edges the way mine tends to be. His anger isn't directed in the way that mine is, and his content, he's got a great many more views than I do, and again, presumably some form of monetization from it. He, to my knowledge, was only demonetized, age restricted, something, on one video. It was a video in which he showed a hockey player biting another hockey player. The fights were okay, the biting was apparently not. So yes, even in non-edgy content, there is a chance that you'll have some form of oversight taking it away from you. So yes, if you are going out there really at the margins, if you want to discuss both sides of really contentious issues, climate change, the vaccines themselves, I don't go into that. I have gone into the mandates. Those sorts of things. If you're going out into Alex Jones territory, absolutely, this is not the forum for you. So what do? I mean, this is where I completely agree with the commenter. You will be deplatformed, demonetized, whatever. Scott Adams, who makes a tremendous amount on, I guess, I mean, I don't know his financials, but he has a huge following. His videos, for a year, his video would be demonetized for the first X hours till he he appealed it and got the video remonetized, but by then the main bulk of the viewership had, most of the views had already been done and the monetization was gone. And so they didn't like what he was saying, so instead of censoring him per se, they just didn't pay him for it. He has a different source of income. Obviously, you have a syndicated comic strip, one of the most popular comic strips of the last generation. You have a different source of income. He's got his books. He's got all those other sources. He's not depending on his YouTube streams for his income, and you should not do that. So what do you do? And I've hinted at it in a couple of the other things I've mentioned there. Dangle has a podcast. That's not YouTube. Scott Adams is a New York Times best-selling author. He writes a book every year or two. That's not dependent on YouTube or Twitter or whatever. The key thing is, you don't own these platforms. This is somebody else's medium, and you cannot depend on your income from it. Do not. You can build a business in Facebook, in Instagram, here on YouTube. Yes, you can absolutely build a business. And with one mouse click of a woke douchebag, you get a woke douchebag's nose bent out of joint, and with one mouse click, you're gone. Now, I get no income from this. I don't expect I ever will. I don't do it for that. But if this is your second stream, or worse yet, your primary stream of income, you have a serious issue. You can be deplatformed, demonetized, and broke like that. Anti-fragility is not depending on that. So what do you do? I've hinted at some of the things. Scott Adams is a writer. Steve Dangle has a podcast. Writers, podcasters, they have alternate distribution methods. They are subject to the whims of people, yes, but there's more there than simply one job or one source, one audience. So why am I here? If this isn't planned source of income, even if it becomes one, but is subject to the whims of people I don't know, and my appeal might be, Andrew, screw off, you've been banned. That they did it to President Trump on Twitter. They can do it to me here. They can do it to anybody. So what is the purpose of this? Well, the first one is, I am, or have been, a professional teacher. I used to teach engineers how to use their CAD systems. I have taught English as a second language. I created some of the courses that I taught. This is an exercise in polishing my content creation chops. It's market research. The video that had the most engagement that I made was one that I dashed off thinking nothing of it. It was about blackface Hitler using the banks as his enforcement wing, or deputizing the banks as his enforcement wing, because he got upset and embarrassed by the trucker protest and the damage done to our banking system and its reputation internationally. There were people taking out 6 figures, moving money, massive quantities of money, out of the banks because they were told, your politics determine whether you're allowed to have a bank account with us. And that's another level to the demonetization and things that you have to worry about anti-fragility. But that was my most popular video so far. It's not why I signed up here. I signed up here to discuss my mental health problems. But I've done many different topics. I've explored many different topics in different ways, and there have been 3 basic strains. There are 3 threads or 4 threads to them. This is market research. I can take from it what I will, but I'm learning. I'm practicing my content creation. I'm practicing creating content one take, being able to speak off the cuff, to talk about my topic. I'm practicing getting used to seeing my wrinkly old bearded face on camera. I'm getting used to hearing my own voice. Do you ever record yourself and listen to it? Does it sound weird? It takes getting used to be able to do that. And The hang up that we have over hearing our own voices is one that makes it difficult to do these things. So I'm using it to get over that. This is a playground, but it's a playground with a purpose. The purpose just doesn't happen to be making money in this playground. More on these topics later. Meantime, have yourself a fantastic day.